So be mindful of building relationship. Very mindful. It's very important. I don't know. I think in this generation, what's your wealth is your relationship. But now in this time, I think relationship is very important. So as much as you're going to feel offended by what someone has done to you, learn to overlook an offense with a flexible mindset towards life. That it's not hard.
Yes.
Give it space, and then come back again.
Welcome to theBLOcounsel, where we talk about everything personal development and business development. On this episode, we will dive into the Nigerapreneur segment, where we discuss with Nigerian entrepreneurs, their journey, struggles, and lessons learned on their path to success.
Leadership, in my view, is something that everyone should have the qualities of leadership. It's not just if you're working in an organization at home. Even in the family setting, the father will take some leadership responsibility, the mother too, in certain ways. But I'm curious to know, and for our viewers, what are your top three? Let's say top three leadership, like qualities, things you would say, oh, when you see this thing in this person, I see this, this man or woman. They're aspiring to greater heights with this type of qualities. What do you see that gives you that nudge?
Three. One, I think for me is consistency. I don't know how good you are. I don't know how talented you're going to be, but see, there's this miracle in consistency. There's a miracle in consistency that you can begin something and understand that. Stay consistent at it. Like, just do it. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. I can imagine. So I think I had this section with a speaker one time, and he said that why people don't see results because they give up. So you don't give a timeline for a big vision. You need to open yourself to the experiences that come in with the big vision. So you don't try to give yourself a destination that this is how you want to be when it comes to a big vision. You need to know that it's a big vision. You have to understand what it feels like to grow it, and in growing it, you need to engage in experience. You need experience, and experience. You also need with experience you need experiment. So it means as you experiment certain things in growing your vision, you grow in experience. But if you try to feel like, oh, this is how you should just go in there, eventually you will give up, because eventually you're looking at something, some image of what the future should look like. But if you put yourself to experience, you know that will still be achieved, but at the same time you're still staying consistent.
True.
And I think another aspect is resilience. Honestly speaking, you would give up. You will feel like giving up. You will feel like giving up, but you can't allow certain things to just weigh you down. Feel everything, but don't let the feeling determine how you should act.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Feel tired, feel like giving up, have all the feeling in the world that you can feel, but if you make the mistake of yielding to your feelings, especially when it comes to certain things that has to do with great visions, you will give up. And I think the other aspect is
another quality that you feel, I know you mentioned consistency, resilience.
And now I think the last one for me is, it's tough dealing with people, It's tough dealing with people. But I think something that I know that if I see this in you, I know the man, you'll go far. It's a place to work with people.
Very, very important.
I don't want to know how powerful you are, but if you can't work with people, you can never go anywhere. Because imagine the whole setup. Let's say, okay, you finish the setup, do the cameras, everything, and then you might sit here, okay, shoot, start, and then you go back there again. Now, you will give up. So I think a very important factor is knowing how to work with people.
Absolutely.
Difficult people, soft people, people you think are not good, people you think that are bad, people you think that you can't trust. Learn how to work with them. Wow. If you learn how to work with them, it's like juju. It just works. It just works. And not taking people too personal or something when it comes to things that you want to achieve a bigger vision. Or when you take things like that, eventually you always overreact based on your feelings.
Always look at the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Let's leave. I remember a quote something Jeff Bezos was saying when he was asked about, you know, how he managed to get to where he has gotten to. This was, I think, when they got the company listed on the stock exchange a long time ago. So, and he said, you know, part of the quality that entrepreneurship is very difficult. This was response. It's very difficult, but if you want to succeed, you have to be stubborn on your vision.
Exactly.
But flexible on the details. Because there's a lot of things that you thought was correct from the beginning, that you find out that you were thinking the wrong way. So, but if you're not flexible enough to make changes when you need to make changes, while still keeping your vision intact, you know, you will most likely not succeed as an entrepreneur.
Very true.
Yeah, very, very interesting take, but you know, how Yoruba people say it's he's an Agba businessman. Yeah, so you know, thank you for telling us those 3 qualities. And I would take that same question now. If you look, I know before we got on air, we were talking about location.
Yeah.
You know, so these 3 top qualities that you mentioned, do you think these are qualities that, whatever the location you are, they will make you a good leader? Whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in, you know, America, or wherever, Europe, or do you think maybe because of the way the people are, like for instance, you know, people around, you know, the Africans are more, you know, more like group oriented.
Yeah.
You know, the Westerners are more of individualistic environment. You know, we don't know if that would affect the type of style of leadership. But I'm just curious to know if you like consistency, resilience, and the ability to work with people. Do you think this is a template that can be used across board?
Oh yes. Now for the 3 qualities I mentioned earlier on, the things can work abroad. You know, they can work anywhere you find yourself in. But there are certain qualities, and sometimes the definition of leadership might not necessarily work for everywhere, for everybody.
Okay.
So sometimes understanding the nature of problem you're facing as a people, as a company, as an organization, as a country, would really mean a lot when it comes to leadership. So it's called situational leadership. So leadership in itself doesn't mean that the fact that you know leadership doesn't mean that you will work when you come here. So, you know, it doesn't mean that you will work when you also go, but you have to understand the nature of problem you are facing as a country, or as a company, or as an agenda, or probably there's something you want to achieve. Then you know the nature of leadership, or the definition of leadership that best suits what you want to address. So you could be in a company where it's not teamwork.
Interesting.
You know, it's not teamwork. It might just be, let's say, corruption. So in defining leadership there, no matter how you do teamwork, everybody will keep getting corrupt, because you're solving a symptom instead of solving a root. So you have to know what's causing that issue.
Yes.
So we keep bringing new people there, those new people get contaminated, and then they become like other people that you actually waste there. So I think certain qualities work, certain qualities don't work. So you understand the nature of the problem, whether as a person, as a body, as an organization, as an association, and then you then find the best style of leadership that fits the situation that you're actually experiencing. And I think I would have loved to use Nigeria as an example.
It's interesting you said that, because I was going to ask you about Nigeria next, but we're on the same page.
Okay, so now, use Nigeria as an example. Okay, I wouldn't want to be, not play politics here and not do party and all that.
We're really on the same page. This is what I was going to say.
So good. So this is it. The 2023 election, some people thought the current president, is the best. Some people felt Peter Obi is the best. You know, so someone asked me, and I said, oh, you see, the truth is this, I think the current president is actually the best man, you know, because he has experience, he has a lot to offer. And I think he knows, I think for me. And they're like, oh, so you don't think Peter Obi is good and all that? I'm like, see, the truth is this, but I also think that Peter Obi is actually the best man for the moment. And why? It's simple. The problem we're facing as a nation, we need certain qualities to address them. So sometimes experience might just even be a problem when it comes to competency. So sometimes you might think someone is experienced, doesn't mean that their qualities is what the problem at
current situation needs.
You know, so you check out the qualities that they both have, and you see how one has been able to address that problem in the future. and you check the history of how they've been able to deal with problems, and you see that, okay, I think this person knows how to deal with this thing, so let's put him there. And so good, experience is good, but at the same time, I think that situations and qualities, the qualities individual bring to the table, just themselves, what they've trained themselves with, sometimes affects a nation, So for that, Peter Obi is good for the moment. The current president, he's a good leader in his own way, So I think I'm going to leave it there.
Well, I don't like you said. I have my views. I have my views. Just as a wrap up, where do you put political leadership in a country like Nigeria? Because, and I'm glad you gave those two examples of the current president and Mr. Peter Obi. Because when you look at the Nigerian terrain, with the mix of the ethnicity, the mix of the people, the depth of the corruption, the unending challenges, Well, since you've mentioned names, which of these leaders do you think can give us the political leadership that is needed for every other thing to work? Because without the political leadership, you are going to end up, making laws, trying to do these. Some people are ready to bomb the whole village.
Exactly.
They are ready just because you've done something they don't like. So where do we, so who do you think is, has the political leadership?
Okay, so those topics like this, they're always very, very, Okay, so this is it. So I think politicians are actually very, very important when it comes to development in a nation,
Most important part of the equation.
I think you determine entrepreneur. So if you can be a talented entrepreneur, but if you don't have good politicians, good policies, you're wasting, your talent goes to waste. So even though you're a good entrepreneur, it's a waste. So I think the aspect of political leadership is very important, and I think people should take the leaders they put into power very serious, even than what they do when they get into power.
Yes.
So the process even to electing a leader is way more important than even a leader when it gets there. So for me, from my own point of view, looking at Nigeria's problem, and I do not know individual personally, but with the details online, with information online, those that are filtered, those that are unfiltered, those that are confirmed, I personally think that for Nigeria's problem right now, for Nigeria's challenges, it doesn't end in few years, it doesn't end in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But the fact that we have a leader who has a mindset of continuity,
very important.
Continuity, when I mean continuity, it's not just continuity with building infrastructures and all that, but understanding what is paramount to development, and that has to do with humans. So if you can play politics to the point where the life of human is not paramount to you, it speaks a lot about what you can do when you get there. So how were you elected? Well, people have to sacrifice for you to get to where you are going to.
Of course.
If people have to sacrifice for you to get to where you want to get to, it means that when you get there, you won't do so much for people. Because eventually, the reason for going into it is for the people. So imagine now you looking down and trampling on people to get there. I think it speaks a lot about that. So we can then compare and contrast, and look at where did they add value. The former Prime Minister of Singapore, because I like him, he said something. He said, as a political leader, if you have to give more preference to your family first before the nation as a whole, you do not deserve to be in a political position. He said he doesn't know, he doesn't care whether your family is good, your family is bad, that as long as you sign up to be a political leader, what's important is the nation, not your family. So if you want to go into family, go be an entrepreneur, stay with your family. But if you want to go into political leadership, the family is not as important as the nation.
Absolutely.
So I think for me, it will be as qualities that I think that would help enhance and change certain things, not make Nigeria better.
The economic leadership?
Yes, Now it's the thing about economic leadership here. I made a research and I discovered that when we check major companies and major countries that are doing well, some of the changes that they had were in virtues. they had drastic changes in their virtues. So when you know how a company will grow, how the economic, whether there will be an economic development, when you check the values
very
of
very
a leader.
key.
So when you check the values of a leader, you know where their mindset is, you know where they want to be. So when you see it, you know that okay, there's a possibility that there will be change here. Now I believe the current president is really working. It's really working. Like I say, if you play politics with people, people also play politics with you too. So there's been politics in the background, and people will also feel like, oh, he's done this to me, so they want to actually complicate things for him, and all that. But I believe Toby has attributes, and which I hope that he's able to work with the current administration to provide.
That's what we all hope. We all hope for. It's a very interesting conversation. I try to avoid the topic of politics from time to time too, because there's diverse views, diverse opinions. But I think the current leadership is very important for to place national interest first.
Very important.
I think one of the biggest issues we have in Nigeria is that a lot of leaders are putting personal interest over national interest.
Be loyal to me. We are loyal to me.
So, and that is the beginning and the end of corruption, because as long as it's your personal interest that will make you do this and do that and do so many other things. But I think we can, in order for us not to have this conversation for long, I think we can, we'll stop here.
Okay.
It's really nice to have you on.
Same here.
We, as a company, we usually give out, the company that I work for, Tunde Laniron Farms. We usually give out gift cards, so we'll be sending you gift cards.
That's nice.
And all that, to shop on our online store.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we also, I know you're into leadership training, but on theBLOcounsel, we also do some form of I'll say mentorship, coaching type, where people have challenges, they can speak, setting goals and things like that.
Okay.
So, of course, if this is something that interests you, we'd also send you an email, we can, of course, still, I think, I would be happy to still have you on, because there's more things that we can always still talk about and discuss.
Sure.
So I don't know if you have any final words for our viewers out there, especially those of them who are aspiring to be leaders, those of them that are already leaders, but they're still trying to figure it out, especially from the entrepreneurship angle. Is there anything you would like to, maybe the things they can begin to work on, if you have any tips, before they come and pay for the rest?
Okay, so for me, I would say that be mindful of building relationships, because there will never be any new invention anymore. Rather, they will need people to to add inventions that are already in place. So, who is going to be the next CEO for Microsoft? Who's going to be the next CEO for Tesla? He wouldn't be the same founder.
Of course.
So, the kind of relationship you build is very important when it comes to who and what you want to become. It's very important. So, yes, human beings can be difficult, but at the same time, the same difficult human beings are the same people that you have to meet to go far. So, be mindful of building relationship. Very mindful. It's very important. I don't know. I think in this generation, what's your wealth is your relationship now in this generation. Then it was industries. Then it was, But now in this time, I think relationship is very important. So as much as you're going to feel offended by what someone has done to you, learn to overlook an offense with, a flexible mindset towards life, that it's not hard.
Yes.
Give it space and then come back again. And with time, you see, people would see you and like, oh, it's cool, I've disturbed it so many times, but I think it's still cool. It's cool. And then even if they have issues with you, because they know you are cool and they know you have offended them.
Yes.
You still have to want to give you the opportunity to feel like you deserve this.
Absolutely. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there today, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Same here.
And I want us to remember, guys, what you become will help you achieve, and what you achieve will help you become. And the more you become, the more you can achieve, and the more you can achieve, the more you can become. Who knows which one affects the other the most? Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Ciao.